A very good afternoon and evening. Thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for it is Monday, the 3rd of October. If you can hear background noise, do not panic. It is just traffic passing to my left. I am sitting in a lay-by on the Normandy-Brittany border on my way back to Osterheim for the ferry tonight across to Portsmouth. Once again, heading back. But I want to actually re-emphasize kind of what I've been speaking about in recent days about the tropics and the involvement and how really it is driving the northern hemispheric pattern, particularly so North America, the Atlantic, and Europe. And I've kind of played back through the loop once again to actually go back to post-tropical storm stroke Hurricane Fiona, which is actually here at the very top of the chart here. Back on Monday the 26th, which of course was last Monday, what we had was tropical air getting lifted north up into the far North Atlantic and even towards Greenland. And downstream of that, we of course had tremendous, well, not tremendous, but lobes of Arctic air coming down over the British Isles, keeping things fairly cool and fairly unsettled as well. But it's actually the remnants of Ian now that is now driving the pattern and enhancing the jet stream. What's happened is we've had a trough drop into the eastern half of North America. Ian has come up, battered through western Cuba, Florida, South Carolina, and that system still exists. And while Fiona drove right up into the Baffin Straits, forcing a lot of tropical air up in Greenland, and then downstream of that, forcing Arctic air south over the UK, what we're now seeing is the emergence of tropical warmth with Ian meeting up with a fresh lobe of cold air coming in out of Canada, down through the Great Lakes and into the northeastern half of the United States, and that, of course, is enhancing the jet stream winds over the exiting North America and extending out through the Atlantic. And we do have a system that is now affecting the UK. Heavy rain, strong gusty winds, miserable conditions this evening across Scotland, north of England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, western portions of England and Wales as well. And with a little bit of brightness, southeastern half of the British Isles, seeing temperatures knocking the door 20 Celsius this afternoon. So, tropics driving the pattern, but the positioning, the track movement of these individual systems is creating a different character to the pattern on the larger scale setup here. So, of course, we're transferring heat out of the tropics, and that is creating undulations in the jet. It's also starting to trigger a stronger zonal jet, if you will. Now, the North Atlantic oscillation had been negative, as you can see here, particularly so early portion of September through mid-September. Then with a couple of dips, brief ups and downs. I personally believe that is directly as a consequence of the tropical cyclones that have been making impact. This rise and then fall, even with Fiona. And now what we're seeing is a bit of a positive NAO developing here. As you can see, right at this moment in time, we're seeing a slight positive. And the reason why is because we're seeing Ian strengthen the jet stream across the North Atlantic. What we're also seeing is the emergence of warm tropical air with cold continental air that is now starting to grow over Canada. And of course, when you draw these two air masses together, in between, you're going to fire up a strong jet stream. And that is becoming a more flat zonal jet. High pressure from the Azores extending up into the southern half of the UK has kind of become stronger with this situation over the western Atlantic, east coast North America. With what's going on the east coast of North America, that in turn is actually helping to enhance high pressure and drier conditions across the southeast. It's also allowing warmth out of Spain, France, coming up into the southern half of the British Isles. As we progress through the next 24 to 36 hours, what we're going to start to see is the response, the atmospheric response to that strong jet stream moving and extending its way like an arm reaching across the Atlantic. And what's taking place and is complicated in terms of the actual finer details is the development of an area of low pressure. So let's get back to the current setup. It would make more sense, wouldn't it? What's taking place here is we've got the jet stream pretty powerful, as you can see here. So this is the initial pulse of stronger jet stream winds that basically was in forcing tropical air up against cold air coming out of Canada. And it's basically now the response of that strengthening jet core extending into the UK and Ireland here during the course of the past few days. So basically, that band of very heavy rainfall that was seen, strong gusty winds, especially west and north of the UK, that is the response of this strong jet core. There's Ian. So sorry, I do apologise. My time's a little bit off because this was actually a few days ago. But this was basically that first heavy rainmaker, first probably since way back in February when we've seen weather normal conditions across the UK. It's the first time we've seen heavy persistent rain extend all the way from the Northern Isles all the way to the Channel Isles. We've not seen that in quite some time, and that strong jet stream helped bring that. Now, what is taking place now is we've got a fresh surge of strong jet stream winds coming off North America. Of course, you tighten the thermal gradient within the atmosphere at 850 all the way up to 500 millibars. You strengthen the jet stream. What's going to happen is over the next few days, that jet core is going to extend its way across the Atlantic, reaching the UK middle portion of the week. We've got a system right here that is going to be riding the north side of that jet, and it's going to be deepening as that system moves across the UK. Now, exact details, how strong, positioning of where that system comes in, all open the question, but we could have the potential 60 to 80 mile per hour winds if everything comes together just right and the system tracks across, say, Highland Scotland. Could see a spell of very heavy rainfall as well as strong to severe gale force winds. And this is a response to Ian. And then what happens is we've got another system. Ian comes off eastern North America. Eventually, it's kind of trapped there at the moment. But what happens is that system then eventually breaks off North America. A new surge of strong jet stream winds develops, as you can see here, and we have more unsettled conditions on the way for the British Isles. But you notice the flat nature of the jet stream. It's zonal. That is in part due to the Mont-Julian oscillation. But instead of having the jet stream going away north and then south, and we're seeing intrusions of Arctic air coming down with that jet stream, it's the type of situation that Ian has found itself in. Instead of Fiona going all the way up into eastern Canada and then kind of setting things off, Ian has become a little bit more trapped over eastern North America, and therefore it's enhancing the dynamics over eastern North America, the thermal gradient and whatnot, but it's also forcing a more flatter zonal pattern connecting North America with Western Europe. So, complicated but interesting, of course, and that is certainly my goal here on my YouTube channel, to show you the complicating factors and amazing meteorology that comes into it. I try to explain it to you in layman's terms to make it more understandable, and therefore you can understand and we can understand why nature does what it does. But certainly it looks as if we have got a very messy picture over the course of this week here. There is the frontal system, of course, moving in through the course of today. Weekends never really reaches the southeastern half of the country because of the flat nature. Stronger high pressure to the south Got a 959 millibar low skirting the south coast of Iceland. Wow, I mean, amazing stuff. Wind, rain, even interior blizzard conditions, believe it or not, is affecting Iceland here. But of course, the arm that represents that cold front is bringing a spell of wind and rain across the UK here. And then, of course, as we go Tuesday and the Wednesday, the dynamics come together. We've got an arm of very strong gesturing winds. We've got a little kink in that jet, development area of low pressure within that situation here. And then we have a run of strong westerly winds that follow that initial system. And then, of course, we do see the potential for more systems as Ian re-intensifies another jet core off North America. That extends across the Atlantic, bringing more wind and rain events to the UK. So a turbulent open to the month of October for the British Isles, and a lot of that is down to the tropics and the way the behaviour of the tropics is greatly dictating the type of pattern that we're seeing at the moment. Of course, mentioned in yesterday's video, sudden stratospheric warming events, potential, all that is going to be looked at in the coming weeks and even the coming couple of months as well. So keep it right here on my YouTube channel. Please like, share, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.